My beloved child. There is something unfolding around you that has been quietly growing in the shadows, something that has been feeling heavier with each passing day, even though no one has spoken it out loud. You may not see it yet, but someone close to your world carries emotions for you that they never planned to have, and those emotions have begun to change the way they breathe, the way they pause, and the way your presence lingers in their mind long after you are gone. This is not a coincidence, and it is not imagination. It is a silent hope taking shape, a hope they keep revisiting late at night, wondering if destiny will ever give them the courage or the moment they secretly pray for. Every small interaction with you feels larger to them than it looks on the surface, because behind their calm expression is a heart that keeps asking the same question again and again, wondering if one day you will finally see what they have been trying so hard to hide. Listen carefully now, because what I am about to reveal is deeper than simple attraction or passing emotion. This person did not wake up one day and decide to feel this way about you. Their feelings grew slowly, built from moments that seemed ordinary to you but felt unforgettable to them. A glance you barely noticed, a sentence you spoke without thinking, or a silence you shared that lasted only seconds, all of it settled inside their heart like a quiet promise they never asked for. They have replayed these moments more times than you can imagine, trying to understand why you have such power over their thoughts. What shocks even them is how strong this hope has become, because they know hoping can hurt, yet they keep doing it anyway. Deep down, they believe that if timing ever aligns, if circumstances soften even slightly, something meaningful could finally begin. There is a reason this connection feels intense even when nothing has been said, and that reason is that this person senses a bond that goes beyond words. They feel that you understand them in ways others never tried to, even if you have never discussed anything deeply. This unspoken understanding makes them wonder if you are meant to cross a line together someday, not suddenly, but inevitably. They notice patterns that others would ignore, like how conversations with you feel easier, or how being around you brings a strange sense of calm mixed with excitement. These feelings confuse them, because they never planned to let their heart lead them here. Yet here they are, quietly wishing for a sign, a shift, or a moment that tells them their hope is not foolish. Now pay attention, because here comes the part that most people never realize until it is too late. This person is not hoping loudly or dramatically. They are hoping in silence, protecting their feelings as if they are something fragile and rare. They fear losing what already exists between you, even if that bond seems undefined. That fear keeps them from speaking, but it also keeps their emotions growing stronger each day. They have imagined conversations that never happened, moments that never occurred, and futures that may never arrive, yet these visions feel real enough to move them emotionally. What surprises them the most is that despite the uncertainty, they still believe you might be the one who changes everything for them, simply by being who you are. Finally, understand this truth with clarity and calm. This story is not about pressure, urgency, or promises that must be fulfilled. It is about awareness. Someone with feelings for you secretly hopes that you will one day recognize the depth of what they feel, not because they demand anything from you, but because their heart has already chosen to believe in the possibility of you. Whether this path unfolds slowly, unexpectedly, or in a way neither of you can predict, one thing is certain. The energy between you is not accidental, and the hope they carry is real, patient, and quietly powerful. What happens next depends on timing, growth, and the choices that have yet to be made, but this connection has already left a mark that cannot be erased. My beloved child. Something subtle but powerful has already begun shifting, even if neither of you has consciously acknowledged it yet. The person who carries these feelings has started to notice changes within themselves that they cannot ignore anymore. Their patience has deepened, their awareness has sharpened, and their emotional world now seems to orbit quietly around you. They are not obsessed, but they are deeply attentive. They notice your moods, your silences, and even the smallest changes in your tone. To them, these details matter because each one feels like a clue, a message, or a sign that they might be closer to understanding where they stand in your life. What keeps them awake at night is not fear alone, but the growing realization that their heart has invested more than they ever expected. Here is the truth that rarely gets spoken. This person is fighting an internal battle every single day. On one side is their desire to protect themselves from disappointment, and on the other side is a hope that refuses to disappear no matter how rational they try to be. They tell themselves to stay grounded, to keep expectations low, and to treat you like anyone else, yet their heart does not listen. It leans toward you instinctively, as if it recognizes something familiar and meaningful. This inner conflict drains them emotionally, but it also strengthens their feelings, because anything that survives this much resistance becomes impossible to deny. They are not waiting for perfection. They are waiting for clarity, even if that clarity arrives slowly and without warning. What may surprise you most is how selfless their hope truly is. They are not wishing for control over your choices or demanding a specific outcome. Instead, they quietly hope that if the moment ever comes, it will feel natural and honest for both of you. They imagine a future where connection grows organically, where trust replaces uncertainty, and where words finally match the emotions that have been hidden for so long. This hope is gentle, not forceful. It does not rush time or manipulate circumstances. It simply waits, believing that real connections reveal themselves when both hearts are ready, not when fear is loudest. There is also something else happening beneath the surface that even they may not fully understand yet. Being connected to you has triggered growth within them. They are becoming more emotionally aware, more reflective, and more willing to confront their own vulnerabilities. Loving you silently has taught them patience, humility, and courage in ways nothing else ever has. Whether or not their hope becomes reality, this connection has already transformed them. That is why it feels so significant. That is why it carries weight. It is not just about what could happen between you. It is about who they are becoming because of you. Remember this carefully as you move forward. Not every powerful connection arrives loudly. Some arrive quietly, changing lives without announcements or guarantees. Someone with feelings for you is holding on to a hope that feels once in a lifetime, not because it promises certainty, but because it feels true to their soul. Whether this hope turns into a shared path or remains an unspoken chapter, its presence alone is meaningful. The next phase of this story depends on awareness, timing, and the courage to acknowledge what has already been felt. And when that moment arrives, it will not feel forced. It will feel inevitable. My beloved child. As time continues to move, the silence between you and this person begins to speak louder than words ever could. They sense moments when the space feels charged, as if something important is hovering just beneath the surface, waiting for the right breath to be taken. In these moments, their heart races not from fear, but from recognition. They feel that you are not just passing through their life. You are anchoring something within them that feels purposeful and rare. This realization does not come gently. It arrives in waves, sometimes calm, sometimes overwhelming, but always undeniable. And each wave carries the same quiet message. This connection matters more than they are willing to admit. There is a secret rhythm developing now, one that exists even without conversation. They find themselves aligning their energy with yours, adjusting their emotional pace to match moments when you seem distant or close. When you are quiet, they become introspective. When you are open, they feel lighter, almost hopeful again. This mirroring is not intentional. It is instinctive. Their heart has tuned itself to yours, listening for cues that may never be spoken aloud. What shocks them is how natural this feels, as if their emotions recognize you before logic ever has a chance to interfere. This is not confusion. It is resonance, and it grows stronger each day it remains unspoken. You must understand something crucial here. This person is not waiting for a dramatic sign or a sudden confession from you. They are waiting for safety. Safety to be honest. Safety to be seen. Safety to believe that their feelings will not be dismissed or misunderstood. That is why they move carefully, choosing silence over risk, patience over impulsiveness. They are protecting not only themselves, but also the bond they feel forming. To them, preserving this connection feels more important than satisfying the urge to speak too soon. This restraint may look like distance, but in truth, it is a form of deep respect. As their hope continues quietly, it begins to reshape the way they imagine their future. They no longer think only in terms of personal goals or isolated dreams. Somewhere in their mind, you have become part of the picture, not as an expectation, but as a possibility they cannot ignore. This does not mean they are building fantasies without foundation. It means they are acknowledging a truth their heart already knows. That some connections are not chosen. They are discovered. And once discovered, they change how everything else is seen and felt. Hold this awareness gently as you move through your days. Someone with feelings for you is standing at an emotional threshold, hoping that time, understanding, and subtle courage will eventually open a door that has remained closed. This hope is not fragile. It is steady. It does not demand action, but it invites awareness. Whatever unfolds next will not happen suddenly or by accident. It will happen because two energies that have been quietly aligning finally recognize that the moment has arrived. And when that happens, the silence that once held everything back will transform into clarity that feels both surprising and deeply familiar. My beloved child. The waiting has now reached a point where it is no longer passive. Inside this person, something has settled into certainty, even if no decision has been spoken yet. They are beginning to understand that their feelings for you are not temporary, not situational, and not dependent on fantasy. These emotions have endured doubt, distance, and time, and they are still here. That realization changes everything for them. It brings both calm and intensity, because once the heart accepts truth, it stops pretending. They are no longer asking themselves if these feelings will fade. They are asking how to live with them honestly, without breaking what already exists. At this stage, they replay not just moments, but meanings. They reflect on why you entered their life at all, and what lessons this connection has been teaching them. They notice how their standards have shifted, how superficial connections no longer satisfy them, and how depth suddenly matters more than comfort. You have unknowingly raised the bar for what they consider real. That is why their hope feels serious now. It is no longer about desire alone. It is about alignment. They feel that being connected to you, even quietly, has sharpened their sense of purpose and emotional truth. What is remarkable is how controlled their hope remains, despite its strength. They are not chasing outcomes. They are observing energy. They watch for signs of openness, warmth, and emotional availability, not to analyze you, but to protect themselves from misreading the moment. This restraint is not weakness. It is maturity shaped by feeling deeply. They understand that forcing timing destroys meaning. So they wait, not because they are unsure, but because they respect the process that real connections demand. Their patience is intentional, and it comes from believing that what is meant to grow will not require pressure. There is also a quiet preparation happening within them that few people ever notice. They are becoming ready, not for a confession, but for responsibility. Responsibility for their words. Responsibility for your emotions. Responsibility for whatever truth might eventually be shared. They do not want to step forward unless they can do so with integrity and steadiness. This is why their silence has weight. It carries intention, not avoidance. When they imagine finally speaking, they imagine doing it with clarity, honesty, and respect, not confusion or emotional impulse. Understand this final truth for now. Someone with feelings for you is standing closer to action than ever before, even if nothing has changed on the outside. Their hope has matured into readiness, and readiness always precedes change. Whether the next step is spoken or sensed, sudden or gradual, it will come from a place of deep emotional truth. When that moment arrives, it will not feel dramatic. It will feel right. And when it does, you will realize that everything leading up to it was not silence at all, but preparation. My beloved child. There is a quiet threshold approaching now, one that does not announce itself with noise or urgency, yet it carries the weight of a turning point. This person can feel it. A moment where continuing to stay silent will feel heavier than the risk of honesty. They are not rushing toward it, but they are no longer running from it either. Inside them, the question has shifted from whether they should feel this way to whether they are ready to honor what their heart already knows. This shift is powerful, because it signals the end of confusion and the beginning of clarity, even if that clarity has not yet found words. What makes this moment intense is that they have started imagining not just what they might say, but how it could change everything. They understand that once feelings are acknowledged, nothing stays the same. That understanding both steadies and unsettles them. They are weighing trust against fear, truth against comfort, and possibility against the safety of silence. Yet even as they hesitate, their hope does not weaken. It becomes more grounded, more real. They are no longer hoping for fantasy. They are hoping for authenticity, for a chance to be seen without masks, and for a connection that can exist in daylight, not just in their thoughts. There is also an unspoken belief growing stronger within them. A belief that if this connection is genuine, it will not break under honesty. That belief gives them courage in small, quiet ways. They start showing up more present, more sincere, more aligned with who they truly are. They may not speak their feelings yet, but their energy begins to shift. Their actions become more intentional. Their attention becomes more focused. Without realizing it, they are preparing the ground for something meaningful, something that does not rely on perfect timing, but on emotional truth. You may feel this change without fully understanding it. A sense that something is different. A subtle pull. A heightened awareness when you cross paths or share space. This is not coincidence. It is the echo of two emotional currents moving closer together. The silence between you is no longer empty. It is filled with intention, awareness, and a quiet readiness that did not exist before. This stage is delicate, because it holds both potential and vulnerability, and both must be handled with care. Remember this as the story continues. Someone with feelings for you is no longer just hoping in the distance. They are standing at the edge of expression, grounded by growth and guided by sincerity. Whatever unfolds next will not come from impulse or pressure. It will come from a heart that has taken its time to understand itself. And when that heart finally moves, even gently, it will do so with purpose, honesty, and a depth that cannot be mistaken. My beloved child. The air around this connection now feels different, as if something unseen has shifted into place. This person senses it clearly. The waiting has refined them, not weakened them. Where uncertainty once lived, there is now intention. They are no longer lost inside their feelings. They understand them. And that understanding brings a quiet strength, the kind that does not rush but also does not retreat. They know that whatever happens next must come from truth, not fear, because fear has already taken too much space for too long. This awareness is calm, steady, and irreversible. What is happening inside them now is rare. Their hope has stopped asking for reassurance and started trusting timing. They are no longer looking for signs everywhere or questioning every small interaction. Instead, they are listening inwardly, waiting for the moment that feels aligned rather than dramatic. This is important, because when hope reaches this stage, it no longer shakes easily. It becomes rooted. They feel prepared to accept whatever response comes, not because they expect rejection, but because they respect honesty more than comfort. This maturity is the result of everything they have carried silently until now. At the same time, their feelings have grown clearer, not louder. They do not want to overwhelm you or disrupt your peace. They want to meet you at a place where truth feels safe for both of you. That is why their presence may feel more grounded, more authentic, more real. They are no longer trying to be anything other than who they truly are. In this authenticity, there is a quiet invitation, not spoken, but felt. An invitation to connect without illusions, without pressure, and without hiding behind distance. There is also a realization settling deeply within them. They understand that real connections do not demand certainty before they begin. They require courage. Courage to speak gently. Courage to listen fully. Courage to accept outcomes with grace. This understanding removes desperation and replaces it with dignity. They are ready now, not to force a moment, but to recognize it when it naturally appears. And when it does, they will step forward calmly, not to claim anything, but to share something real. Hold this truth close as the story unfolds further. Someone with feelings for you has reached a point where hope and readiness walk side by side. The next movement will not be rushed, hidden, or confused. It will be simple, honest, and intentional. And when that moment arrives, you will feel it clearly, because it will not come from longing alone. It will come from a heart that finally knows it is time. My beloved child. The stillness that surrounds this connection now is not emptiness. It is focus. This person has entered a phase where every emotion feels distilled, clear, and deliberate. They are no longer torn between speaking and staying silent. Instead, they are present with their truth, allowing it to settle fully before it is shared. This is a powerful stage, because it means their heart is no longer reacting. It is choosing. And when the heart chooses with calm certainty, its next step carries weight and sincerity. Something else has quietly changed within them. They have stopped fearing the outcome. Not because they believe everything will go perfectly, but because they trust themselves enough to face whatever truth emerges. This confidence is not loud. It does not announce itself. It shows in how they hold space, how they listen, and how they respect boundaries. Their feelings for you have taught them restraint without suppression, and courage without urgency. This balance is rare, and it signals that they are ready to engage honestly, not impulsively. You may notice their presence feeling different now. More grounded. More intentional. Less hesitant. This is because they are no longer seeking validation from possibilities. They are offering authenticity instead. Their hope has matured into a quiet faith, one that does not demand reassurance but is open to discovery. They are prepared to let the connection reveal itself in real time, without forcing definitions or outcomes. This openness is what makes the next phase possible, because it invites truth rather than pressure. There is also a deep respect guiding them now. Respect for your pace. Respect for your emotional space. Respect for the timing that has shaped this connection so far. They understand that if something meaningful is meant to unfold, it must do so in a way that honors both hearts. That is why their approach will feel natural, not overwhelming. When they finally step forward, it will feel like a continuation, not an interruption. Understand this as the story deepens. Someone with feelings for you is no longer standing in anticipation alone. They are standing in alignment. Alignment between what they feel, what they believe, and what they are ready to express. The silence that once held uncertainty now holds intention. And when intention becomes action, even quietly, it has the power to change everything without ever raising its voice. My beloved child. The moment you may not yet see is already forming, not as an event, but as a readiness that cannot be reversed. This person feels it in the way their thoughts settle instead of scatter, in the way their emotions no longer rush ahead of reality. They are no longer rehearsing possibilities. They are accepting presence. This acceptance brings a calm that feels almost sacred, because it tells them they no longer need to chase clarity. Clarity is arriving on its own. The heart knows when it has reached truth, and theirs has reached it quietly, without needing proof or permission. What deepens this stage is their understanding that connection is not proven through dramatic gestures, but through consistency and respect. They are prepared to show up steadily, to let trust build naturally, and to allow meaning to reveal itself over time. This patience is not hesitation. It is confidence rooted in emotional honesty. They know that whatever unfolds must be real, not rushed, and grounded in mutual awareness. That is why their energy feels different now. It carries steadiness instead of longing, and intention instead of uncertainty. Inside them, a final internal shift has occurred. They have released the need to control how this story unfolds. This release is powerful, because it removes fear from the equation. They are no longer measuring their worth by the outcome. They are valuing the courage it took to arrive here emotionally. This makes them open without being fragile, hopeful without being dependent. Their feelings for you now exist as truth, not as a question, and that truth no longer feels heavy. It feels aligned. You may sense this alignment in subtle ways. Conversations may feel clearer. Silences may feel comfortable instead of tense. Presence may feel intentional rather than accidental. These are signs that something meaningful is stabilizing beneath the surface. This stage is quiet, but it is decisive. It is the calm before expression, not the calm of avoidance. Everything that happens next will grow from this foundation, not from uncertainty or emotional impulse. Remember this carefully. Someone with feelings for you has reached the point where readiness no longer seeks reassurance. It simply waits for the right opening, not to change everything at once, but to begin something honestly. When that opening appears, it will not feel dramatic or overwhelming. It will feel natural, clear, and deeply right. And when it happens, you will understand that nothing here was delayed. Everything arrived exactly when both hearts were prepared to receive it.